Welcome to Dharma, everyone. We'll meditate for a few minutes while people are arriving. Who's new to Dharma bumps tonight? Lots of you. Anyone new to meditation? And all I have to do is ring the bell. Any questions on meditation of any kind? Practical, theoretical, anything? No questions, then I can sit up there and someone else can sit here. Eyes open when you meditate or eyes closed? Eyes closed? Raise your hand. When you cross the street, eyes closed or eyes open? Scary movie, eyes closed, eyes open. So actually pervasive in Buddhist meditation, and in Zen meditation especially, so eyes are a little bit open, not wide open, not half open, but like maybe a third open. Why? So experiment. It's your own experiment. Each of us is our own experiment here. What happens when we close our eyes? We have to give some attention to this. Well, we think it's relaxing. Okay. We have a lot of eye stress, so that part's okay. But then when do we usually close our eyes?
Sleep.
Huh?
Sleep.
Yeah. So meditation is not a state of sleep, a dream state. So the tendency of the body is habituated. If you close eyes, we start to dream, or we start to increase subjective chatter. So in Buddhist meditation, half open, half closed is different also than wide open. During the day, when we see things, especially in our modern time, it's automatic. We're quickly identifying, naming, choosing, liking, disliking. We see an object, name happens. Name separates it from the objects around it. Again, meditation state is unified state of awareness, and our visual relationship with that is important to leave wide open. So we're not trying to cut off the external world, so-called external world, by closing our eyes and thinking we have to go somewhere else to be peaceful. At the same time, our relationship with sensations, as well as thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories, anticipations, all this, we're shifting and changing our approach and our attitude in meditation. So when our eyes are partly open, we're gazing, we're not focusing. We're simply allowing our visual impressions to come, fully, like wide vision. So if you hold your hands out, you would see your fingers moving. Not like narrow focus, wide open, gazing. Eyes partly closed. You're looking, posture is straight, but looking down, the eyes like 45-degree angle. So try experimenting with this on your own. It may seem a little different at first, but then kind of push past that and see. And it's actually very helpful. So again, in the Buddhist view and the Zen view, we're not trying to disengage from objects of sense. Hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, feeling, mental constructions, emotions. All these things are happening. But neither jumping into them nor pushing them away. This is different. During most of our daily activity, we're doing this all the time. Don't like that, like this, adding to that, making some dialogue up about this or that happened yesterday. This is continuous. Anticipating our shopping list for tomorrow, already figured out. Metaphorically, we think we know what we're doing tomorrow. All these things are necessary, but we get incredibly attached to their outcome. So meditation is dropping all that, we're just being totally present. It's present time awareness. And it's in that present time awareness, like one, opens the door to our intrinsic, essential, Zen would say unborn mind, or in Dzogchen they would say pristine Buddha nature. So it's not a matter of creating or adding something, it's a matter of allowing what is already inside each person to arise naturally. Simple, yeah? Not necessarily easy, but very simple. It's best too with eyes open if you're gazing at a neutral surface. You know, like in some monastery, facing a wall sometimes. In Soto Zen. Or gazing at the floors, empty floors. In Tibetan Dzogchen, you would also sometimes gazing at the horizon, give a really open horizon for 100 miles. You know, you can do that. Like here in San Diego, we have the ocean. So you can gaze into the horizon as well as good support for meditation practice. Any comments or questions about this idea? So experiment, try it on your own. And then breathing. Everyone know how to breathe? Yeah? Everyone remember how to breathe when you're age 2. How do 2-year-olds breathe? Adults and 2-year-olds breathe differently, I guarantee it. Find a 2-year-old and watch. 2-year-old's eyes open, gazing, no judging, breathing from their stomach. So we're shifting back, trying to get habituated into this shallow upper body breathing. So again, Zen and Buddhist meditation, we're breathing from our, what in Zen we call the hara, or tanden. So deep, totally inhaling slowly, and exhale. Exhale. It's very important on the exhale to completely exhale to the point where there's like a little tiny pause when it's completely exhaling. Everything is completely empty, in a sense, out of our content of perception. Everything is finished. Then again, inhale. So sometimes in meditation we use the method to follow one's breathing. It's not like we're chasing our breathing. This is a little off. So it's to have seamless relationship, seamless awareness, body, breathing, close together in seamless connection, one thing completely. So then the experience is more like we're being breathed. So one kind of can shift into that place once practice settles a bit. So breathing, body awareness, close together. We're not trying to disappear somewhere and leave our body behind. This is not helpful. So we'll practice again for a few minutes. Having fun, everyone? I'm going to hand out a little thing you can take with you on meditation from Suzuki Roshi, Zen Mind Beginner's Mind. But one of my Zen teachers always reminded the most important book to read. Everyone here is already reading all the time. He said, the autobiography of yourself in the present moment. So remember, this is number one book to read. All the other study, reading practices, points in that. Inescapable. Right? Good time, bad time, nice time, neutral time, boring time is, guess what? Our time.
Like to sleep.
Here you go.
Yes. Thank you.
So any questions? Somebody lost their son, any kind of question. Or a question about something you've been studying or reading is fine. Enough copies? Yeah,
You said any kind of question.
any kind of question.
If there's no self, who's the one meditating?
No self. If it's truly non-dual, there's no difference between self and non-self. Right? Non-self isn't some place, other place, right? In some kind of pure, empty place somewhere far away. No self is right there when you hear the bell. And I hear the bell. We all experience that in that moment. I made a similar question a few years ago. It was very, to me, after, during it and afterwards, it's very funny. It was one of those, when Dharma Bums was downtown, a little place, second. And here also, and occasionally guest teachers come in. It's like whoever happens to be in town, if we hear about it, we invite them to come. And I don't remember his name. Korean song or Zen teacher. He's okay, another Zen teacher. Didn't know much, anything about him. I only have a little knowledge of Korean Zen tradition. He came, gave the translator, gave a great talk. Afterwards, I asked him the question about, in a kind of theoretical way again, about self, no self. He was like, dynamite in my face, but there's nothing but self. And of course, as I checked later, he's like the number one greatest Zen teacher in all of Korea, right? And I saw he's like, oh my goodness, like for the last 40 years, conducting the training periods throughout the year of intensive training for all the Zen or some practitioners coming up, young monks, everything. This is like the most accomplished Zen teacher of the time. Really, I was quite amazed that he'd come to Dharma monks. It was very humbling, really. But you have to be careful with language and experience. We can easy to say like this kind of, there's no self. But what does it really mean? In our actual experience, Zen is very exacting about this. So self gives it, this sense of separate identity. Again, back to the basic practice. Awareness. Everyone has awareness, right? Past. Oh yeah, we can all recite our past. Where is it? Continuously. Future. Right, we all have future, okay, but it's emerging, right? So in this absolute present moment, this confluence of things we arise as this sense of self. And in this present moment, that self dies and is finished. And another one arises. This happens automatically. My Zen teacher would have said 1,000,000 times a second, making up a number. Self arises, dies. There's no permanent self. Doesn't mean there's nothing. That would be a form of Buddhism doesn't fall into that kind of, they say that's a form of nihilism. At the same time, it doesn't say there's a permanent self either. That's a kind of eternalism. It's something much more dynamic going on. That's kind of a partial answer. Again, the only solution to that kind of question is we have to go deeper in our autobiography in the present moment. Really, like even in Vajrayana, Tibetan Buddhism, really try and find this self. Really work at it. Where is this self? Cannot be found, but also there is something. Yet it's continuously impermanent, continuously changing, totally interdependent. This ever expanding self, actually, or non-self.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you said you'd read or you listened to the Dhamma Sutra. So the Dhamma Sutra is all about this deepening this understanding. Yeah, the Dhamma Sutra is good to, it's like a great current Tibetan teacher, Dzongtsar Rinpoche, who I would recommend listening to many lectures on YouTube. He's very insightful, humorous, modern Lama, and traditional. He said even with a sutra, like people might ask him, here's someone who from his childhood, grew up surrounded by the greatest lamas of the time, his own family and friends, associates. Trained in Buddhist studies from age 7 or 8 even. He said, sutras, he says, I don't understand them. he doesn't understand it. It's kind of a relief, Like you read the Heart Sutra, form is emptiness, emptiness is form, form is no other than emptiness. What on earth does that mean? But he said, nonetheless, read them until they become like, oh, it feels good. Don't even worry about figuring it out. Make a connection, make a relationship with these profound things. And Diamond Sutra is like that. You can read it and go, wow, that doesn't make any sense at all. And Diamond Sutra says something like, when you realize that there are no sentient beings to be saved, then you have truly attained the Bodhisattva and saved all sentient beings. Okay. What does it mean? Really deepen that, really kind of chew on it. Red Pine's translation is good from the Chinese text of the Diamond Sutra in terms of language and historical things like that. So Buddhism works a lot with these very paradoxical statements. And these are very helpful to help us crack our ego fixation. There are no absolute answers in these things, only deepening our inner experience. We won't read through this where time is going, but this is something you take with you. This is by Suzuki Roshi, founding teacher of the San Francisco Zen Center in the 60s, from his book, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. The wonderful thing about Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind is that it's a very useful and beneficial book, regardless of the beginning, middle, or even deeper practice. And each little piece is very short, like this is just a little less than 2 pages. So it can be read over and over again and help support our practice better. One more question, anyone? Or short question? Everyone breathing okay? Scary movie, eyes open, eyes closed? Go ahead.
Would you say there's a soul and a material body? Because I know the Krishnas believe in that, where you have a material body and you are the soul. Is that?
They're separate.
Yeah.
They're separate?
Yes.
Why are they separate? How can they be separate?
I'm not sure. Because your soul is what karma is, your soul is what, what's the proper word?
I'll switch traditions
Well,
because, again, you could say there's some non-dual traditions that look at this differently. So even in Western inner traditions, there was a really great, wonderful poet, mystic artist named William Blake in England in the later 1700s to early 1800s. So William Blake said, and this is what Nagarjuna would say from Buddhist tradition. The body is the soul perceived by the senses. See, we got really quiet. Think about it. The body is the soul perceived by the senses. This is from Western mystical tradition. Buddhism in general would say, where is this soul you're trying to find? So an analogy would be like in Buddhism, there's one of them in China, maybe I think it was an emperor wanted a demonstration, so I don't remember which Buddhist teacher it was, a famous historical event, probably partly true, made up for as a teaching example. Again, about self and non-self. So they set up the monarch was sitting in front, and they set up a bunch of candles, big candles. And someone lit the first one, and then from the first one lit the second one and blew the first one out, all the way up, however many dozens of candles. And the question is, of course, is the flame the same or different than it was at the beginning? So again, the answer is both. Anyway, I have to leave it at that. We could go on and on. The question of karma and what, in Buddhism and in different schools of Buddhism, and how reincarnates, and continuity, and all those things. Anyway, you can think about the candle metaphor. Thank you, everyone.